नमः पार्वती पतये गोविंद नाम संकीर्तनम।
Namaste everyone. So I'm very happy to see you all here once again. So we'll start with the prayer songs, or we will invocate. Okay. Om Shuklam Bharadaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadhanam Dhyayet Sarva Vigno Vishantaye. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. தென்னாடுடைய பெரியவா போற்றி எந்நாட்டவர்க்கும் இறைவா போற்றி சர்வஜ்ஞா சர்வவியாபி பெரியவா பிறப்பருக்கும் மகா பெரியவா அடி போற்றி சகலோகானாம் ஸ்ரீ கௌரோகியாம் நதியே சகல தியானம் தட்சிணாமூர்த்தியே நமः. So we'll start now. So we'll start with the first slokam of Bhagavatam. जन्माद्यस्य यतो अन्वयादितरतश्चार्तेष्वभिज्ञः स्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा दाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तगुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि. So the previous sessions we have seen about the importance of Bhagavatam, the benefits of Bhagavatam, and the pride of Bhagavatam. Now, the opening scene of Bhagavatam. We have already told that, the opening of Srimad Bhagavatam describes its actual primary contents and the ultimate purpose. And it all started. The scene, all the, the sacred forest of Naimicharanya. Naimicharanya is located in the present day North India. 88 sages, there is a lot of sages there had gathered there and headed by Shaunaka Maharishi. They are all headed by Shaunaka Maharishi. Their noble purpose was to perform Satra Yagam. Satra Yagam is a big Yagam. It is Naimishe Anmishe Kshetre Rasheha Shaunakadayaha Satram Swargaya Lokaya Sahasra Samamasata. Means the slogan here seems that the sages perform this Yagam to attain moksham. But Sridhara here gives an explanation for this slokam. That is, as they perform this yagam, this yagam is performed to know the true identity of Paramatma. It's not for Swargam. It's not for Migar, because of course they would not do this big sacrifice or this big yagam for attaining only moksham, a meager result. Because it's a Satra, because in Satra Yagam there is less karma, but more Brahma Vicharam. So, after completing this Yagam, this big Satra Yagam, they sat together. They found that Kali has come. Kali Yugam has come. That is, so there are a lot of signs to show that Kali has come. First, what will happen is, the first sign is there won't be any dharma at all. People will act cunningly, very, very cunningly. They will, in the mind, they will get adulterated. They will act cunningly. The Brahmins, they will be ready to give the Brahmanyam even for 2 rupees. So they will be ready to give that. And farmers, see, these are all given, like, Kali Yuga doshams. These are all the doshams. So farmers, what they buy fertilizers for their grains, for growing the grains, but the yield, the price, that is the yield, the grains they get will not be even half the price of the fertilizer. And another thing is that the king will punish without even arguing the case. See, these are all the Kali doshams written. Okay. So if you look at all the doshams in the Kali Yuga, we can see now we can see all this are happening. All the corruptions, so many adulterations, so many contaminations, even in the food, even whatever we breathe, everything is contaminated, everything is adulterated, nothing is pure. So these are all the Kali doshams. So now in Naimisharanya, that is the forest of Naimisharanya, sage Sutar has come. He is not a Brahmin, but he is the son of Roma Harshana. Roma Harshana means goosebumps. Means when the Roma Harshana, when he say the Bhagavatam stories, those who hear will get goosebumps. That's why his name has become Roma Harshana. Roma means hair. Roma Harshana means goosebumps in the hair. We get. So he used to say, seeing Bhagavan inside. The Bhagavatam, he says Bhagavatam, seeing Bhagavan inside. So Sutar belongs to that lineage. Sutar belongs to that parampara, that is lineage. So everyone wants to, all the sages there in Naimisharanya, they want to hear the stories from Sutar. So because he is also Vyasacharya's disciple. Vyasa only made this Bhagavatam, isn't it? So he is also a Vyasacharya's disciple. So the Bhagavatam, these stories of Bhagavatam are hidden gems, and the Guru always, teaches or shows the secret place where the hidden gems are placed. So everyone wants to know the essence of Bhagavatam from Sutar. So seeing the very divine caliber and spotless character of Sutar, the sages placed 6 crucial inquiries before him. Bhagavatam starts like this. So the exchange of questions and answers unveiled the essential spiritual truths, for the benefit of the countless generations to come. So the 6 questions they inquired. They put the 6 crucial inquiries before him, before Sutar. First question is, what is the ultimate good for humanity? What is the ultimate good for humanity? What is the essence of Vedas or spiritual knowledge? Why did Krishna appear in the world? What were the activities of the Lord in relation to creation? What were the activities of each incarnations of the Lord? When Krishna departs, from the world, where will the religious principles be found? So when Bhagavan Krishna took his leg from this earth, that is in the Dwapara Yuga, when he took his leg from the earth, when he started to Vaikundam, when he departs, and that particular day, when he took his leg from this earth, that particular day, the Kali Yuga starts from that particular day. So now who will protect? Krishna is gone now. Now who will protect all the, sadhus? Isn't it? So Bhagavan is also gone. So who will protect? So these were the 6 questions asked by all the sages. So now sage Sutar, after doing namaskaram, after prostrating to his guru is Vyasacharya. After prostrating to his guru, sage Vyasa, started to answer all the questions. First, he offered his namaskaram to Sri Shugacharya, Shuga Brahma, who is a disciple of sage Vyasa, who is the son of sage Vyasa also. Actually, Shuga Brahma, if you know, Shuga Brahma, when he was born, Shuga left the house, fully renunciate. Vyasa, who is the father of Shuga, who is the father who chased, he always chased him, shouting, "Oh Shuka, Shuka, come home, oh Shuka, Shuka." He was shouting like that. And all the trees, flowers, animals, and everything in the forest, answered, what? Everything answered, not Sugar, everybody answered there. So this is because Sugar is a Brahmanyani. Brahmanyani means he could realize the Bhagavan in everything. Atma Darsanam. That's called Atma Darsanam. Atma Darsanam means he could see the same Atma prevailing within him and also in all other things. So including him. So that is why all the, everything in the forest, all the animals, flowers, trees, everything in the forest answered Vyasa. Vyasa was so sad because, he knows that his son, his son is a Brahmanyani, and he is also sad because he has not yet get that, he has not yet get that jnana. So Sutar says, I prostrate to the Brahmanyani, Shugacharya. So all the answers, you have asked so many questions, 6 questions, and the answers to all of your questions is in Srimad Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam tells the answer. Bhagavatam tells the answer of all your questions. That's what Sutar says. So Bhagavatam is such a big, it's compiled by Vyasacharya, and one has to receive it with open ears and open heart. That is the necessary thing. So he is gifted with a profound understanding of the Bhagavan, like the Supreme Lord, Bhagavan, Paramatma, or the Supreme Lord, and the process of bhakti. Simultaneously, he will experience the purification of heart also. That raises, one to the platform of pure devotion. So Sutra described how he received the teachings, of Srimad Bhagavatam compiled by Vyasacharya, and instructed this divine spiritual science to his son Shugacharya. And then in the historical conversation, Sugar spoke, or instructed it to Maharaja Parikshit, the saintly king, who was cursed to die in 7 days. So now Vyasacharya, the great sage, is the author of Srimad Bhagavatam, isn't it? First did Mangalam. Mangalam means what? That is, first brings our attention to the Supreme Paramatma. That's a Mangalam. So initial chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam describes this ultimate purpose. So the answers to the questions raised by the sages, like, I will repeat that. So what is the ultimate good for humanity? What is the essence of the spiritual knowledge? Why did Krishna appear in the world? What are the activities? What are the activities of the Lord in relation to each incarnation? Or what are the relation of the Lord in relation to creation? And what are the activities of each incarnation of the Lord? And when Krishna departs from the world, where will religious principles be found? So the answers to these questions are found in Srimad Bhagavatam. So this will be a little bit philosophical, today's session, and maybe next session will be a little bit philosophical. But you people, you don't, even if children are hearing, if you are not understanding also, you can just put your ears. If we take the first slokam, we can see how it directly shows the Paramatma. And how it uproots all our miseries and clearly distinguishes the reality from illusion, from Maya. Illusion means Maya. So sage Vyasa compiled it at the summit and its spiritual maturity. So the first slokam says, Janmadhyasya yatho anvayaditaratas charteshu abhignah swaratam tene brahma hridaya adi kavaye muhyanti yat surayah tejo vari mridham yata vinimayo yatra trisargho mrisha dhamna svena sadha narasta guhakam satyam param dhimahi. The satyam param dhimahi, he is starting, he started by saying Satyam Param Dhimahi. He says, I meditate thereupon to who is the absolute truth, who is eternally existent. And in his transcendental transcendental abode in the past, present, and future. He is absolute truth. Satyam Param Dhimahi. He says that he meditates and prostrates along with his Sishyas. Satya, that's called Satyam Param Dhimahi is the true nature. True nature means Swarupa Lakshanam. We say that Swarupa Lakshanam. He points out the Swarupa Lakshanam and then uses the Tatastha Lakshanam. He says, that is there. Tatastha Lakshanam. See, I'll explain this a little bit. Lakshya means target. Our target. Lakshyam means, Lakshyam is one. That is Brahma. Paramatma is the Lakshyam. Lakshanam is of two types. Lakshanam is two types. Swarupa Lakshanam and Tatastha Lakshanam. Swarupa Lakshanam means essential characteristics. Tatastha Lakshanam means secondary characteristics. So, when the Lakshana is not different from Lakshya, then that Lakshana is called Swarupa Lakshana. When it is not different from Lakshya, then it is called Swarupa Lakshana. When, that is, you can say that Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Satchitanandam, all these are Swarupa Lakshana, Vijnanam, Anantam, Brahma, like that. When the Lakshana is different from Lakshyam, then the Lakshana is called Tatastha Lakshana. Jagat is a Tatastha Lakshana. Jagat Karanam. So, I can say it in an easy way, like, if somebody is asking, if one person is asking to other person, where is the river? Somewhere, I just said that somewhere there is a river and where is the river? And the other person says, if you go directly towards east side, you can see a lot of neem trees. There you have to turn left. And then you can see like a swampy area. And then after that, you can see the river. See, he points out. And that is called Tatastha Lakshana. Suppose, if that person takes him along with him, and shows the river directly. See, this is the river. See, that's what he says. He shows that directly. Then it is called Swarupa Lakshana. So here Vyasacharya points the Swarupa Lakshanam of Satyam. Satyam Param Dhimahi. He gives the Swarupa Lakshanam of Satyam Param Dhimahi and shows the Brahman using Tatastha Lakshana. See, one does not have to learn Vedas to know the Brahman or Paramatma. If you see the world, if you see the universe itself, if you notice that how it systematically, it operates. The solar system, we have studied the solar system. So how it systematically operates, we know that there has to be a Paramatma who does all this, isn't it? So there is no need for any Shastras to say this. If there is a house, then there has to be somebody. There has to be, a owner of the house or a person who built the house, isn't it? This is how the whole universe, mountains, rivers, trees, forests, earth, is all created by Paramatma. Is all created by Paramatma. Janmadi Asya Yato Anvayad. Anvayad means Paramatma manifests. Paramatma manifests in all the Panchabhutas. Panchabhutam, including the earth, Akasham, who when from all the Panchabhutas like earth, Akasham, there is a Shruti word like Yatova Imani Bhutani Jayante Yena Jatati Jivanti. This Shruti has got lot of meanings. It has got lot of meanings. Sage Vyasar says, I meditate upon him, the transcendental reality, who is the perennial cause of all causes, from whom all manifested universe arise, in whom they dwell and whom they are destroyed. So we can't see him. He is eternally effulgent, who is directly or indirectly the conscious of all the consciousness, conscious of all the manifestations, and yet is beyond them. So now the question arises, what is that effulgent Paramatma? Who is that effulgent Paramatma? So is it Prakriti? Prakriti means nature. Is it nature? Prakriti? Sankhya's, Sankhya, those group, Sankhya says that this is Prakriti only. This is only Prakriti, nature. But the Prakriti is Jata Vastu, Jatam. That is, it's like a corpse, carcass. But the Paramatma is said to be Abhigyat, Chetanam. That is, he is all alive. So if it is all alive, then whether it is a Jivatma, but it is said, again it is said, that it is Swarat. Swarat meaning effulgent by itself. Our Jivatma is effulgent only through the senses. So through his senses he get his effulgent wisdom and everything. But Paramatma doesn't require any senses. He is Swarat. Then another question arises. Is he Chaturmukha Brahma? Means Brahma. No one has created Brahma. So even Chaturmukha Brahma got his jnanam from the Upadesam of Paramatma only. From the Upadesam of Paramatma. Teni Brahma Hridaya Adikavaye. Means he gets his knowledge only from Paramatma. So the four-headed Brahma, that is the Chaturmukha Brahma, lived before everyone else. He is the first person, isn't it? He's the first person or created. But he never went to any Gurukulam. To attain jnanam. He got his jnanam instantaneously through his instinct. But where does the instinct come from? See, the question goes like this, go deeper and deeper. Where does the instinct come from? Tejo vari mridam yata vinimayo yatra sargo mrisha. See, and then even to great sages, and demigods, devas, this world, like a mirage, appears to be real. So there is a money. See, I can tell you by example, there is a money. Money means bead or pearl or bead called kasham. This bead, this kasham bead, if you keep that bead near the river bank or hide inside the banks of the river, then it is said that this river bank will look like a river and the bank of the river will look like the river will look like a bank of the river and the bank of the river will look like the river. So likewise, the world will appear as real and the material nature will appear as real, though it is unreal. Yatra trisargo mrisha. That's it. The material universes, created by three modes of nature appear to be factual. Although they are unreal. These are Maya. These are Maya. Dhamna Svena Nirasta Guhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi. So, sage Vyasa says, I meditate upon the Ishvara, the Paramatma, the absolute truth, who is eternally existent, in his transcendental abode, and who is forever free from illusion. So, the next slogam is Dharma Progjita Kaitavo Vatra Paramo Nirmatsaranam Satam Vedya Vastavamatram Vastum Shivatam Tapatrayon Moolanam. Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Kriti Kimva Pareshisha. See this, unlike Vedas, which always describes the Vedas, the Vedas always describes the benefits of each karma, the result of each karma, benefits of each karma. Bhagavata Purana is not like that. Bhagavatam, that is Bhagavata Purana, is transcendental to all these sense gratificationary activities. For example, Veda says, if you do this particular karma, if you do this particular work or karma, you will get this benefit. See, Veda expects that after getting the benefits of this kamya karma. Kamya karma means material benefit. After getting this material benefit, the devotees, what will happen is the devotees, by doing all this karma again and again and again, the devotees then becomes fully aware and he is one with the absolute. And at the same time, in the eternal position of servant to the absolute also. So this is like if a mother insists his son to take a spoon of castor oil will be bitter in taste. So if she insists to take a spoon of castor oil, and if she says that if you take the spoon of castor oil, I will give you a candy, the child thinks that the benefit of taking the castor oil, that is 1 spoon of castor oil, is getting a candy. But the actual benefit is not like that. But the actual benefit is different. So the actual benefit of castor oil is by taking the castor oil, you have to get rid of all the other biscuits and candies, whichever we have already taken. So the mother knows that, isn't it? So in the similar way, the Veda, the mother, Veda Mata wants us to do so many karmas, and one day we come to know that this is all something, there is something beyond all this karma. There is something beyond all this. But Srimad Bhagavatam is different. See, Veda is like that, Vedas are like that. But Srimad Bhagavatam, the benefits are not told in a tricky way like this. It's not told like in a tricky way. So rejecting all, completely all the religious activities which are materially motivated, this Bhagavata Purana propounds the highest truth. Dharmaha prochida kaitavo atra paramo. This highest truth is understandable only by the devotees who are pure in heart, who are equipoised. Nirmatsaranam satam dharma prokchida kaitavo atra paramo nirmatsaranam satam. This Vedyamana Vastu, Vedyamana means understandable, absolute truth or Paramatma, is reality distinguished from illusion. Illusion means Maya. It removes, the for the welfare, this such truth uproots the, what do you call that, threefold mysteries. Threefold miseries is Adhyatmikam, Adi Baudikam, and Adi Daivikam. Adi Daivikam, we can put the threefold mysteries like this. Like, these mysteries, the miseries, not mysteries, this miseries, the miseries which arise from the mind and body, those miseries inflicted by other living beings, and those miseries arising from the natural catastrophes, like, for which one has no control. So this uproots, this Bhagavata Puranam, it uproots those. Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite. This beautiful Bhagavatam is compiled by sage Vyasacharya, isn't it? So Kimva Parai Vishwara. By itself it's sufficient. By itself it's sufficient for for absolute, finding the absolute truth or God. Because as soon as one attentively and submissively hears the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavan enters into him. Bhagavan sits inside him, and the devotee becomes so attached to him. Narada says, the Bhagavan enters into him. Why the Bhagavan is entering into him? Because he sits inside him and he removes all the dangers or obstacles or all the miseries, that he could face the next day. We don't know. We will get a headache or stomach ache next day. We will not expect that, isn't it? Those kind of miseries also, Bhagavatam will remove. Though one cannot see Bhagavan inside them, he sits there removing all the bad things which are going to happen. So Narada says, if one starts looking at Bhagavan, what will happen is then we'll be looking at Bhagavan because he's so charming, isn't it? So we'll start looking at Bhagavan. So we will not hear the glories. That is why he is inside us. Okay, wiping out all our sins. Because people are prone to do lot of papa karmams. Always, we always do. Sometimes we we hit the mosquito. We are doing a papa. We are walking. So many insects are killed. So many things like we always do papa karmas, and those papa karmas are waiting to give its effect. That is its benefit. It has got its own benefit, isn't it? Its effect or result. So the intelligent person, by thoughtful discretion, can be, assured by the great sage Vyasa that he can realize the supreme personality directly by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. That is why even sannyasis, sages, mahans, those people who are fully renunciate people also came running to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Because they want to get rid of this prayachita karma. Those karmas, prayachita karma, if it is there, they want to remove that. So they came running to hear the Bhagavatam. Sadhyo. See, the thought of hearing Bhagavatam, only comes to those who did punyam. If you are not having any punyam, then it will not allow us to sit. We will all think, it's very boring or a waste of time. We have got other works to do. Why to sit and hear this Bhagavatam? So that's how the papam will do. So here, the essence of Vedam, the essence of all the Vedam is Srimad Bhagavatam. The fruit from the trees of Vedas. Veda is a big tree, and the fruit from the trees of Vedas. So the essence of all the Vedas, Itihasas, Purana, everything, the unbroken fruit, the fully ripened, matured fruit. That's why it is said like Shukamukad. Shukamukad means the fruit eaten by a parrot. Parrot means the parrot's always, the parrot only takes a ripened sweet fruit. It won't even touch the sour fruit. Here sugar is compared. She's a jnani, isn't it? So sugar is compared to a parrot. Sugacharya is a jnani. And the jnani, Brahman jnani, never touch anything which is materialistic and never preaches something which gives the material pleasure, worldly pleasures. So Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muharaho means he says that one has to drink the fruit. This fruit means this fruit is Bhagavatam. One has to drink this fruit, Bhagavatam fruit. He doesn't say that you have to eat the fruit, but to drink, isn't it? Because there is no seed in this fruit, there is no seed, there is no skin, there's nothing. It's only full of juices. So therefore, it's a nectarian fruit. It's a nectarian fruit is all with more relishable by liberated souls. This nectarian fruit is full of rasas. Rasas means juices. Rasamalaya means the juices, rasas of all the Puranas. Muharaho, Rasikaha. Rasikaha means there is one condition. There is one condition for hearing Bhagavatam. That the condition is only the person who admires. Means rasigargal, rasigas. Only those person. That this is the eligibility. This is the eligibility criteria or a prerequisite for hearing Bhagavatam. He has to be a rasigan. He has to appreciate, admire. So, and he has to have the bhagyam for listening Bhagavatam. Bhuvi bhavukaha. So Mahatma, Sutar asks everyone to hear the Bhagavatam. When Sugacharya, Sugacharya only told this Bhagavatam, isn't it, to Parikshit. When Sugacharya, when he entered the forest, Vyasacharya went running behind him. See, all the time, sugar was at that time, means when he was running outside the home, he was only 16 years old. He was very young. He was handsome looking. Sugar was very handsome and he was only 16 years old. And Shugacharya always used to run into the forest, and the Vyasa used to chase him, though he knows that he is not fit as a householder. Though Shugacharya is not fit for the house as a householder, Vyasacharya will chase him and bring him back to his house because he's a father, isn't it? He's so fond of his son. So he wants his son to be at home always. But once this time, he is 16 years old and he's also very handsome young man, and he ran outside as Avadudal. Avadudal means naked. He ran inside the forest. He's completely dispassionate. Isn't it? Sugacharya, Suga Brahmam. That's why we call it as Brahma. Brahmam means, it's all everywhere. That's called Brahman. So Suga Brahmam. We call him as Suga Brahmam. So at that time, what do you call that? Demi-goddesses or angels, Deva Kannigai. That's what I mean to say. Those people, those angels or demi-goddesses were taking bath in the nearby pond. In a nearby pond, they were also naked. They were taking bath. When this demi-goddesses saw that sugar was coming towards them, what happened is, they saw that this sugar, he was coming towards them. See, they immediately prostrated before sugar without even dressing themselves. They thought that this Mahan, this sugar, will go away. If they spend time dressing themselves or wearing a sari or anything like that. So after that, sugar was gone. Now Vyasa came. Now after that, Vyasa was running, was chasing his son. He came. But all these demi-goddesses, they went, they dressed themselves, and they were hiding behind the tree, seeing Vyasacharya. Vyasacharya felt very ashamed, much ashamed, seeing their activity. So he asked these girls, my son was only 16 years old. He was also a handsome, lovely looking young man. But you girls, you came before him naked and prostrated before him. But when you saw me, you not only dressed yourself, you went and hid behind the tree. See, I'm an old man. Why did you do that? But these girls, they said, oh, old man, please don't get angry. Okay, you know the difference between a boy and a girl, a woman and a man. But your son is not like that. He is a Brahma. He is like a small baby. He is a Suga Brahma, isn't it? He's a pure Parabrahma. He doesn't know the difference. He's like a baby. Tat Vishya Prichati Manoho means he is Mahajnani. He is a Mahajnani. Shugacharya, he doesn't have any doshams at all. He doesn't have any doshams at all. He's so pure. That kind of sugar, that kind of sugar, that pure jnani, he says he will not even stay in a place not more than 15 seconds. But that type of sugar, Shugacharya stays for 7 days at one place for teaching this Bhagavatam to Parikshit, isn't it? A sannyasi, you can see that a sannyasi or a jnani, he was not accustomed to stay at any householder's residence for more than 15 seconds. So at the time of milking the cow, that's the time. That's the time limit they will stay. And he would just take the alms from the fortunate householders. So that was to sanctify the residence by his auspicious presence. Since Sukacharya is a jnani, there is no niyamams and rules or regulations for him. See, if he wakes up from his samadhi He will be always in his samadhi, spirit, ecstatic mood, isn't it? So when he wakes up from his samadhi, say at 5 a.m., he would go in front of a house, stand in front of the house for 15 seconds. If there is any bhagyam for that resident to give some alms to him, he is fortunate. So that type of jnani sugar, how is it possible for him to stay at one place for 7 days at one place? A jnani, Brahmanya, a jnani doesn't know whether his body is sleeping or walking or, eating or sitting. Nothing, he won't know. The jnani takes, everything as the upasesam from God. So one more thing is, how come this Parikshit, he's a king, he's a very big king who is also very young and met this great sage, Sugacharya, making it possible for this great transcendental essence of Vedas to be sung to him. Now, sage Sutar started telling after prostrating to Vyasacharya. So we'll continue what Sutar says in the next session, because I don't want to overdose everyone. So we will start in the next session. So we'll complete this session today with Purnamadam. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Thank you all. Thank you. So we'll meet in the next session. See what Sutar has told about Vyasacharya and about this Bhagavatam.